Let's do some verb juggling and accelerate your fluency. Aufräumen is to clean up. Aufräumen. How would you say I clean up? Ich räume auf. You see, it's a separable verb. This is a good example because it's also almost separable in English. Clean up, I clean up. Ich räume auf. So auf is the prefix that is separated. And it's kicked to the end. Ich räume auf. I clean up. How would you say I clean up the desk? Ich räume den Tisch auf. How would you say I clean up my desk? Ich räume meinen Tisch auf. How would you say I clean up a desk? Ich räume einen Tisch auf. You see, einen, den, meinen, always with en at the end. Why? Because aufräumen is an accusative verb. It triggers accusative. Tisch is a masculine word, der Tisch. In accusative, it's den Tisch. You remember, the only article that is different in accusative is the masculine one. Instead of being der, it's den. So we say, ich räume den Tisch auf. And we carry on the same ending, the same en ending of den, if we use different articles. So we say, ich räume einen Tisch auf. I clean up a desk. Or ich räume meinen Tisch auf. I clean up my desk. How would you say, tomorrow I clean up my desk? Morgen räume ich meinen Tisch auf. You remember, morgen räume ich. Tomorrow, clean I. When you start, when the first position is something else than the subject, for example, tomorrow, morgen, then the verb follows because the verb is fixed at the second position and the subject is placed afterwards. Morgen räume ich meinen Tisch auf. How would you say on Monday I clean up my desk? Am Montag räume ich meinen Tisch auf. How would you say on Tuesday I clean up my room? Am Dienstag räume ich mein Zimmer auf. You see, here we say mein Zimmer without ending. Why? Because Zimmer is neuter, das Zimmer. So we have no ending. Am Dienstag räume ich mein Zimmer auf. How would you say, when do you clean up your room? Wann räumst du dein Zimmer auf? How would you say, when do you clean up your desk? Wann räumst du deinen Tisch auf? How would you say, why don't you clean up your desk? Warum räumst du nicht deinen Tisch auf? How would you say, who cleans up your room? Wer räumt dein Zimmer auf? How would you say, can you clean up your room, please? Kannst du bitte dein Zimmer aufräumen? You see, here we use the modal verb kannst, können, to express can, what you can do. Kannst du, can you. So we're using two verbs. Können, kannst, kannst du, can you. And then aufräumen, we use aufräumen in the infinitive form, and we have two verbs. You remember, whenever we have two verbs, the second one is kicked to the end. So we say in German, can you please your room clean up? Kannst du bitte dein Zimmer aufräumen? Aufräumen at the end. How would you say, can you clean up your desk, please? Kannst du bitte deinen Tisch aufräumen? How would you say, can you, sir, clean up your desk, please? Können Sie bitte Ihren Tisch aufräumen? You see, können Sie, can you, sir, Ihren Tisch, your desk, sir? How would you say, can you, sir, clean up your room, please? Können Sie bitte Ihr Zimmer aufräumen? How would you say in the past, I've cleaned up? Ich habe aufgeräumt. You see, aufgeräumt is the participle. Since it is separable, the G slips in between. Aufgeräumt. Ich habe aufgeräumt. I've cleaned up. How would you say, I've cleaned up the room? Ich habe das Zimmer aufgeräumt. How would you say, have you cleaned up the room? Hast du das Zimmer aufgeräumt? How would you say, who has cleaned up the room? Wer hat das Zimmer aufgeräumt? How would you say, when have you cleaned up the room? Wann hast du das Zimmer aufgeräumt? You see, the participle is always at the end, following the same principle. We have two verbs, the auxiliary verb haben and the participle. So the second one, the participle, is kicked to the end. How would you say, who has actually cleaned up the room? Wer hat eigentlich das Zimmer aufgeräumt? You see, actually in German is eigentlich. It actually sounds alike, right? Actually, eigentlich. So in German, eigentlich, actually. Wer hat eigentlich das Zimmer aufgeräumt? Who has actually cleaned up the room? How would you say, when have you actually cleaned up the room? Wann hast du eigentlich das Zimmer aufgeräumt? How would you say, have you actually cleaned up the room? Hast du eigentlich das Zimmer aufgeräumt? Great! Next time we'll go through the verb holen, to get. Holen, to get. Like when you say, can you get the drinks? So here's what I want you to do now. Take this verb now and juggle it around. Build just 3 simple sentences, saying them out loud. Just 3 simple sentences. This will take you just 1 minute. In the next episode, you'll hear my take on this verb. So talk to you soon. Bis bald. Are you a busy professional who neither have the time, nor the patience, nor the energy to attend traditional language school classes at night or weekends? Then you're in the right place. Click the link in the description below and get my free German podcast course that will help you boost your confidence in speaking in less than 3 months, spending just 10 minutes a day while commuting to work.